Hi everyone, this is Madison Moore and Sophia Lowry with Mr. Eder talking about the Fine Arts Department at MIA.
Our first question is, what is the purpose of the Fine Arts Department and its main goal?
That's a really, really good question because, now that Mr. Totten is also in the Fine Arts Department, we've talked a little bit about the idea of having art classes be as much of a sanctuary or even an oasis for students to come in and be creative and yet in a more relaxed environment, and that having them kind of have a place to be themselves and to express themselves and have some fun and not have the same types of pressures that are put on them in either the ACE courses, which are very important obviously, and also the major courses, which are very important obviously, but we were hoping that students could come in and just have a little bit more fun and be a little bit more relaxed than in their other classes. And so our purpose is to offer that oasis, offer that sanctuary for people to unwind.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Our next question is, how will the art department grow in next year?
Well, that's also a really good question. And again, I've discussed with Mr. Totten some of our plans, and that we're going to start by doing larger projects and more mural type things and more decorating around the building with student artwork. We've already had some shows in the mezzanine of student artwork, and Mr. Totten has been putting up pieces on the doors and things like that, but we're looking to purchase more frames and more things that are going to go up all over the school in a more structured way, I guess you would say, and also in just having them framed, I think that it'll look a little bit more professional.
Yeah.
It's not really the right term. But
No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Our next question is what you hope to achieve with the art, and how has being an artist helped you succeed at teaching art?
Well, I'm very, very interested in art. And when I'm not thinking about teaching, I'm thinking about art. And that anyone who knows me knows that they can come to me with any art theoretical questions or things like that, and I have a pretty extensive background in that. Mr. Totten, he really much enjoys the fun of teaching art, whereas I approach it in a more kind of an intellectual way or a more academic way. I'm really interested in the philosophical aspects. And as a teacher, I'm hoping that I can convey to the students that there's a philosophical approach to their lives and how they view what their worldview is, and how these ideas that are being conveyed over the centuries in the visual arts can be used as tools to help you guys move forward to be basically happier and feel a little bit more safe in this ever-changing world.
No, I like that. Thank you. Our next question is, how would you say you express yourself in your art? Does your art portray a certain reoccurring theme?
The work that in my personal art, the work that I'm doing right now, it's called anthropomorphic abstractions. And anthropomorphic means coming close to looking like a human body, but it's an abstract picture. And I've always been interested in kind of psychology and symbolism and things like that, and I always used to enjoy looking at clouds and seeing horses and stuff and whatever, and so the work that I'm doing now, I'm trying to allude to a human presence without it necessarily being a human presence.
That's brilliant. Our next question is, who was your biggest motivator and how have they impacted your life in kind of teaching and art?
In art, my biggest motivator was just a guy I worked next to washing dishes at a health food restaurant all the way back in 1973. And he identified himself as an artist, and I just thought he was really a cool guy.
Yeah.
I'm talking 50 years ago, you know. and that I thought, gosh, this guy's so cool.
Yeah.
He's an artist, and I was, 19 at the time, and that I just thought, that's what I want to be, and I'm not a natural artist, and so I worked really, really hard to get into good art programs and things like that, and that in teaching art, I try and give as much focus and attention to all levels. The show that we have right now at the Marco Island Center for the Arts, in the description that Mr. Totten and I came up with for that show, we talk about the importance of dealing with people, of showing work by people with all levels of experience and all levels of engagement with the materials. So that some of the people in that show right now at the Marco Island Center for the Arts are like really well established in terms of their skill levels and in terms of their perspectives on their relationship to fine art. And some of the people are just starting that journey, and that we wanted to make sure that those people are included in the show as well, not just the stars.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Our next question is, what is one thing that you hope your students learn from you?
I'll say 3 things.
Okay.
Love, hope, and patience.
I love those.
I think that Mr. Totten and I, again, we very much agree that having a kinder, gentler society would benefit everyone.
I agree.
Is it realistic? Who knows? But one person at a time, we try and have people feel safer. And if somebody feels safer, then they don't feel the urge necessarily that they need to protect themselves, and they also don't need to strike out at anyone else, or putting someone else down because they don't feel good about themselves.
Okay, and then our final question was just, how is the Fine Arts Department going to give more attention to the artwork of MIA students and kind of like their expression of creativity?
Well, again, I'm going to get back to this idea of framing more student artwork and putting it in more of a public view. And so we already, have our show at Marco Island Center for the Arts. Sometimes when the situation comes along, we'll do a mural here and there. Over the years, we've done them for the Marco Island Historical Society. We've done them for Rookery Bay Nature Preserve. We're working right now on something for the Alyssa's
Animal Sanctuary.
So we're doing something for them right now. And so we're trying to just get the student work out in the public so that they recognize that this is going on right here on Marco Island.
Well, thank you so much. That was great.
Well, my pleasure.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys have a more basis understanding of the Fine Arts Department at MIA and how you can participate.